Hi, I'm Will Leach, author of Marketing to Mind States, and this is your Mindstate Messenger. You know, years and years and years ago, when I was first dating my now wife, she used to say something to me. She said, it's really important for being the line of vision, right? And she used to always give her friends, this advice. If you want to find the man of your dreams, or if you do find the man of your dreams, don't be overly aggressive. Just be in the line of vision, meaning that if you're just around, all of a sudden the guy will notice you and start to trust you and hopefully like you. So in today's Mindstate Messenger, I want to talk a little bit about the behavioral science of being in the line of vision and why it's critical for you to consider this in your business. So in today's VUCA world, building familiarity is critical to your long-term brand growth. So first off, you may be thinking, what is VUCA? Well, VUCA is a term that was brought in from the Army War College, I believe in the early 1990s. I learned about it when I was at an Institute for the Future conference and doing work for them back in maybe 2010. But here's the idea, is that our world is continuously growing in these four things: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and it's ambiguous. And isn't that true? Like even today, if you think back to maybe when you're a kid, to when you're a teenager, or even the last year or two, every day, our world becomes more volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And the idea is that familiarity could be a big and more important thing as we become more volatile and we live in this VUCA environment. So think about this. Familiarity, you may also heard of this as a topic called mental availability. It's a topic that Byron Sharp talks a lot about in his kind of landmark book, How Brands Grow. And the idea is this: it's those brands that are very familiar, or they have mental availability and physical availability, but mental availability are the ones that grow. And data across the world, across all categories, confirm that when your brand comes to mind, it's critical to your brand growth. However, I would say that even more in times of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, having this familiarity is even more important for you. Because when we're in VUCA environments, we seek things that are familiar. And you know this. When you are sick, or if you are feeling run down or whatever, what do? You go find your comfort foods. You go find those snacks that make you happy. So in today's world, we often use vices to bring down feelings of anxiety and things like that. That's why familiarity is so important. Even more importantly is Marie de Vries, if I'm getting that right, she actually discovered that our desire for familiarity comes from a fear of loss. And when do you feel that you are in fear or have more likely to lose something? It's when environments are volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And those environments are more and more. So her research confirms this. So when you feel unsafe, you go with those things that are familiar, and those brands that are familiar that you're more likely to go to those brands. So a couple of takeaways. First, realize that your brand and everything you stand for can be a shortcut towards somebody feeling safe. That's why it's so critical for you to become trusted and to be transparent. All those things you should do. It's not just that you can kind of be these things to people so that when they want to know if they can trust you, if they want to understand your sourcing, they can figure that out for themselves and figure out whether they like you or not. No. Subconsciously, you want to create a brand that's transparent because it makes you more familiar. And when you're more familiar, you're more likely to be bought. This also means that in times of uncertainty and complexity, you can use cautious framing in your messaging, and it's going to work better for you if you're a category leader, if you're a large established brand. So what this means is that when you talk about how your benefits or your features that you have in your product are there to minimize risk, very simplistic way of thinking about it, but if you can communicate that, it's going to benefit you a lot. But also the contrary is also true. Let's say if you're a brand new brand, new innovation, nobody really knows you. You may want to use more optimistic framing, or talking about how your features and your benefits are going to maximize good things. It's not about avoiding risk. It's about maximizing gains. And that would be useful if you knew nothing about your customer. Talk about the good things and the positive things your customers will receive if they buy your brand. But ultimately, guys, here's the deal. Understanding the science of trust and how to become more familiar and mentally available to your customers is a smart step towards growing your brand using the power of behavioral science. If you enjoyed this email, forward it to a friend and consider joining the Mindstate Marketing Facebook group called the Mindstate Marketing Society to engage with other fans who want to grow their business using behavioral science. And if you want to see more of these types of videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Mindstate Group, and listen to our weekly podcast, the Mindstate Marketing Hour, on all major podcast platforms.